The city bustled with the usual after-school chaos, cars honking, people rushing, leaves swirling in the wind. Among the crowd, Sofia weaved her way down the sidewalk, balancing her backpack and a stack of papers from school. Her eyes darted to the time on her phone. She was already late for her shift at the diner. But just as the crosswalk signal blinked to red, she spotted him, an elderly blind man standing alone at the corner, cane gently tapping the concrete, unsure of the moment to move. People flowed around him like a stream around a rock, eyes glued to their phones, earbuds in, no one stopping. Something in Sofia's heart pulled at her. Without hesitation, she slowed, walked up to him, and softly said, "I'm here to help you, sir." He turned his face toward her voice, and a faint smile crept across his weathered face. Gently, she took his arm and guided him through the intersection, shielding him from the impatient crowd and chaotic traffic. As they reached the other side, he squeezed her hand lightly. "Thank you, young lady," he said, his voice raspy but warm. Sofia smiled. "It's nothing. Take care," she replied before hurrying away, never looking back. She didn't think twice about it, it was just something she believed anyone would do. But the old man stood there for a moment longer, facing where she had gone, silently committing her voice and kindness to memory. A small act had quietly planted a powerful seed. The old man, now seated in a modest but cozy apartment, carefully places his cane by the door and lowers himself into a leather armchair. The room is filled with books, framed photographs, and old newspaper clippings. One of them shows a younger version of him shaking hands with a college dean. He was once a renowned philanthropist and former university trustee, though now retired and mostly forgotten by the fast-moving world outside. He removes his coat and slowly leans back, thinking about the young girl who had helped him just hours earlier. Her voice still echoes in his mind, gentle, unpretentious, and full of quiet confidence. Most people ignore him these days, but she hadn't hesitated. She'd guided him with grace, asked nothing in return, and vanished into the crowd without waiting for thanks. He reaches for an old notebook on the side table. In it, he's been recording names of deserving youth to whom he might grant small scholarships in memory of his late wife, who had grown up poor herself. He never planned to add anyone he met randomly on the street, until now. He doesn't know her name, but he jots down details: teenage girl. Downtown intersection. Worn backpack. Kind voice. Help me cross safely. He places the pen down and stares out the window. There's a feeling he hasn't felt in a long time: hope. "If I ever find her again," he murmurs, "I'll make sure she knows she mattered." That evening, Sofia returned home exhausted. Her part-time shift at the diner had been rough: double tables, a broken dishwasher, and aching feet. She kicked off her sneakers, dropped her bag on the floor, and stared at the pile of mail on the counter. Most of it was junk, but one envelope made her heart sink. It was from her dream university. She opened it slowly, hands trembling. The words confirmed what she feared: application received. Scholarship pending. Financial documents required. Sofia bit her lip, trying to stay strong. Her mother had been laid off months ago, and her father had passed away years earlier. Every dollar counted. She worked evenings and weekends to keep the lights on and still managed to keep her grades high. But even with all that effort, college still felt like a far-off dream. She sat at the kitchen table, staring at her reflection in the window. "I don't know how much more I can do," she whispered to herself. But even in that moment of quiet despair, she didn't regret helping the blind man earlier. She'd do it again. It had been a small act of kindness, one that felt right, even if it had cost her a few minutes of work time. She had no idea that far across the city, someone she'd helped without expecting anything in return was already trying to find her. The universe, quietly and patiently, was beginning to turn in her favor. Sofia was called to the counselor's office during second period. Confused and a little nervous, she clutched her binder as she walked in. Ms. Raymond, her counselor, smiled warmly and gestured for her to sit. "There's something I want to show you," Ms. Raymond said, handing Sofia a cream-colored envelope with no return address. The front simply read, "For Sofia. Urgent." Inside was a typed letter, formal but heartfelt. "Dear Sofia. Kindness often appears in the smallest of moments, unnoticed by most. But not by me. A week ago, you took the time to guide an old man across a busy street. You didn't know he was blind, or that he was once a university trustee with a passion for helping students like you. You didn't stop to ask for anything. But your voice, your compassion, stayed with me." The letter continued. "Consider this a small return on your selfless act. Enclosed is confirmation of a full scholarship, tuition, books, and housing, to the university of your choice. Use it well. The world needs more people like you." Sofia's hands shook as she read it. Tears welled in her eyes. Ms. Raymond smiled, already teary-eyed herself. "He didn't leave a name. Just, gratitude." Sofia sat in stunned silence, overwhelmed. That single moment of helping someone, something so small and instinctive, had changed the course of her life. The kindness she gave without thinking had just come back, tenfold. Sofia walked through the university courtyard, her backpack now newer, her shoes less worn, and her face glowing with purpose. She had just finished her last exam of the semester, top of her class, majoring in social work. Every step she took across that beautiful campus reminded her how far she had come. That afternoon, she volunteered at the campus center for students with disabilities. It was part of her scholarship requirement, but for Sofia, it had become much more. She loved listening to their stories, guiding those who needed help, and making others feel seen and valued. As she stepped outside for a breath of fresh air, she noticed a familiar figure sitting on a bench under a tree, cane in hand, hat tilted to the sun. Her heart skipped a beat. It was him. The blind man from the crosswalk. She approached slowly, uncertain, but he turned his head as if sensing her presence. "I was hoping I'd hear your voice again," he said with a smile. Tears welled up in Sofia's eyes. She sat beside him, speechless for a moment. Then she whispered, "You changed my life." He chuckled softly. "No, my dear, you changed mine first." They sat in silence, connected not by obligation, but by a shared moment of unexpected kindness that had rippled across time. In a world often rushing by, one act of selflessness had created a bond, and a future, neither of them could have ever imagined.